Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today's weekly VR news is once again all about the games. The Upload VR showcase from last week featured 60 titles. New PlayStation VR2 games and ports have been announced. I've been absolutely blown away by the quality of VR games that I'm currently demoing. Quest 2 titles are finally approaching PCVR caliber, and newer PCVR and PlayStation VR2 games have been absolutely mind-blowing. I'm curious how excited my audience is for new VR games, so please let me know down in the comments right now. There are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but let's start that list of exciting new games with today's sponsor, Arashi Castle of Sins Final Cut. This action stealth title has not only received a huge list of improvements, including updated graphics, UI changes, and combat enhancements, but it's also now coming to PCVR, the PlayStation VR2, and MetaQuest headsets. Now, if this wasn't already enough, the developers are also giving away 5 Quest 3 headsets in honor of this new release. If you're looking for more information or want to join that giveaway, there's a link down in the description. But let's continue into this video with a recap of the Upload VR showcase. While a 2-hour livestream featuring 60 new VR games may sound exciting, it was unfortunately a bit of a snore fest. The majority of games were previously announced, and in many cases we didn't even get any new footage. There were, however, a few standout games, and I'm going to limit my recap to those specific titles. First on the list is Inverse, a 4v1 asymmetrical horror-themed title that places a group of agents up against a monstrous creature. Agents will be working together to restore the power to control terminals, while the null creature will be hunting them down. So it sounds like we're getting gameplay similar to Dead by Daylight, and if you want to check it out, there is a demo available from App Lab right now. It's limited in maps and only gives you access to the Reaper creature, but it's a great preview of what this title will offer upon its full release. Next up is a melee brawler from the creators of Synth Riders. Final Fury is inspired by classic arcade fighting games and appears to be similar to a melee version of Blast On or an online match of Creed Rise to Glory. I'm expecting the studio's experience with rhythm games will help make the title feel fluid and responsive, and if you're interested, you could sign up for the beta right now. Now next up was some footage that left me truly excited, and that was the Realism gameplay mode for Crossfire Sierra Squad. For those concerned that this game wouldn't have active reloading, or it's just all over the top Michael Bay style arcade action, well, the Realism gameplay mode shows that's not the case. It offers up a serious challenge where bullets are quite fatal just like they're meant to be, and you'll have to be both patient and strategic when engaging your enemies. The graphics on this title still look absolutely amazing, and I'm glad to see it can have a varying pace from pure adrenaline to strategic combat. The next trailer to surprise me was the mixed reality update for Espire 2. I'm still looking at AR as a bit of a gimmick, but I'm really curious to see how this plays. Sneaking around my house and taking down some enemies could add an exciting new level of immersion, but we'll just have to wait and see how good it really is. Just like the next title, Madison VR. This psychological horror game originally released back in 2022, and it's now making its way into VR, giving you a whole new perspective of its spine-chilling action. There's a deep story-driven narrative that has you starting with blood-soaked hands and feeling compelled to complete a gory ritual. You're never alone in Madison, and you'll be faced with unpredictably triggered events and mutating puzzles, which add to the title's overall replayability. So horror fans should definitely put this title on their wish list, but if you're looking for games that are releasing sooner, let's move into this week's new releases. I'll breeze through most of these a little bit faster than normal, because I've already mentioned them in previous videos. First up is Hubris, which is now coming to the PlayStation VR2 and the Quest 2. Previously released on PCVR, this action-adventure title is absolutely stunning, and in my original release I said it was fantastic but flawed. Luckily though, since then the developers have made numerous updates, and the overall experience is significantly better. It might not be a Half-Life Alyx quality shooter, but it's definitely worth checking out. I'm contemplating doing an updated review comparing all 3 versions, so if you want to see that, please let me know down in the comments right now. If you're looking for something a bit more physical, we have VR Skater. VR Skater allows you to ollie your way through multiple different courses, while featuring unique controls and an awesome soundtrack. There's a training course if you want to master your skills or just get your name on the global leaderboard. If you're looking for some high-speed 5v5 multiplayer action, Stack will be available later this week. It features unique disc and shield weaponry that turns the gameplay into a high-flying death frisbee battle. I'm definitely intrigued by the mechanics and want to know how this game feels to play, so I'll absolutely give it a try in the near future. Even more exciting for me is the release of VR's version of Dark Souls, Grimlord. Grimlord is a darkly themed RPG featuring brutal combat, that Souls-style overlapping level design, and death around every corner. A Quest demo version will also be available at the same time, so just about everyone should be excited for this game. And that covers this week's exciting new releases. But let's move on to some brand new PlayStation VR2 announcements. First up, the best co-op horror-themed title, Phasmophobia, is coming to the PSVR2 this August. This is an absolutely terrifying and equally addictive game. It made me feel like I was starring in my own personal version of the Blair Witch with a couple of my buddies, and I've never had so much fun while also peeing my pants at the same time. I highly recommend all PSVR2 owners check this game out, as long as you could deal with some jump scares. We also got an announcement trailer for Tiger Blade, a fast-paced action-adventure title set in an alternate version of Korea. There's plenty of sword and gunplay, plus fast-paced movement throughout an enemy-filled city. The gameplay has been designed for maximum replayability, plus there's an awesome soundtrack to help keep you pumped up. But if high-speed action isn't your style, The Wanderer is getting a brand new remake. This absolutely stunning time-traveling puzzle adventure, Fragments of Fate, is coming to the PlayStation VR 2. It's supposedly completely reimagined for the next generation of VR, and not only will the graphics be enhanced, but there's also new immersive mechanics that'll have you swimming, jumping, crouching, climbing, and ziplining your way through this adventure. There's also a whole new combat system featuring new weapons, ammo, and enemies. So it sounds like this already amazing game is getting that much better, but we'll have to wait until 2024 to find out how much better it really is. Now, previously announced at the Metagaming Showcase was the horror title The Seventh Guest, but we now know it's also coming to the PlayStation VR 2. This is a complete remake of a classic 1990s horror-themed puzzle title, and since I love the original game, I can't wait to see what they have in store for us. And that covers all of the new game announcements, but I have one more quick update before we get into today's main event. Pavlov Update 29 is here, and it features a new engine, OpenXR, UI overhauls, audio updates, new maps, 2 new guns, an updated IK system, the Infection, Prop Hunt, and TTT gameplay modes have either been added or updated, plus there's a huge list of additional fixes. So now you have plenty of new reasons to jump back into one of VR's best shooters. And now let's get into today's major topic, the fact that I've been completely blown away by all of the new games that I'm currently demoing. Now, due to ongoing embargoes and NDAs, I can't get into specifics just yet, but I will say what I'm seeing from the Quest is absolutely amazing, and it's getting quite close to PCVR quality. Now, before the PCVR community gets disgruntled by those comments, let me add a few caveats. Obviously, a low-powered mobile chip can never compete with a full gaming system. Numerous concessions will have to be made, but it looks like after years of practice, developers are getting extremely efficient at Quest 2 optimization. I was also recently told by a reputable studio that the full power of the XR2 chipset in the Quest 2 has been unlocked to developers. Previously, it was significantly underclocked for both better battery life and less heat production. Now, I definitely cannot say if that's contributing to the quality of these games or even taking place right now, but it could be a factor or just something to help get a little bit more life out of the Quest 2 as we move into the era of the Quest 3. Again, I can't say too much, but this definitely will be an exciting time, as VR game quality will be getting a significant bump. Quest titles that are close in comparison to PCVR games is still currently the exception and limited to games like Red Matter 2, but it should become more of the norm in the near future. Additionally, developers are learning how to nail VR locomotion and fast-paced action. I highly recommend you check out the demo of Hellsweeper to get an example of what I'm talking about, and while things on the Quest are getting better and better, I'm absolutely blown away by 2 titles I'm currently playing on the PSVR 2. These titles have nailed both stunning graphics and fantastic gameplay. For the first time in a really long time, I spent the entire weekend VR gaming, and I just can't wait to jump back in for some more action. Now, I want to see you guys take some guesses as to what games I'm referring to down in the comments right now. I won't be able to say if you're right or not, but I do want to see where your head's at. Also, please make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on, or just leave a thumbs up to help support this channel. Things are about to get very exciting for VR, and I want to be here to take you guys through it.
And that was today's video, brought to you by my dad, Mateo311. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here,
Consider subscribing.
consider
subscribing.
and consider subscribing.
Consider subscribing.
Consider subscribing.
We'll see you guys on next time.
We'll see you guys on next time.